Welcome back to Boring Reviews.
Boring land.
Oh, just kidding.
Blasphemer!
All
Hello,
right.
Boring Review Nation!
Kind of pointless.
We know all things.
Welcome, Boring Reviews here. Jodi there.
Nick here.
And today we're bringing you a comedic reaction by Veer Das.
That was like so sweet and innocent. Veer Das. Yes, Veer Das. I come from two Indias. Oh man, I come from two parents. No? Okay. Best I got
That's
today.
crazy, because I thought I came from three.
No, still try to teach the people around me. That's why I'm a teacher. We're checking it out. I come from two Indias. This was a comedic request. Thank you so much for the request. Can't remember who it was, but I appreciate you, and I see you, my friend. Like they say in Avatar, I see you. And can't wait for the sequel to come out later on this year. Just saying. And I'm just saying, like, the 4K quality of this video looks fantastic, so I'm excited for that. Veer Das is a fantastic comedian. If you have not seen it yet, we have plenty other reactions from him on the channel. If you like what you see here, or if you like what you see in the past, and you don't like what you see here, what should they do, Jodi?
Like, subscribe, and then hit that notification bell so you're aware of our next uploaded videos.
If you're not aware, then you're underwear.
Oh, I was going to say then you're square.
The joke still doesn't make sense, but I still like it.
Okay.
All right, Veer Das, let's see what you have to say in this video. Here we go.
I wanted to try something since you're all, this is a moment for me. So, is it okay if I make a small video with you guys before I leave? Would that be all right? Yeah.
Sure.
We are at the Kennedy Center in Washington D.C. We are sold out. Did you have a good time tonight, guys?
That is so cool. Like all standing.
The temptation in this moment is to make a video about myself, and I don't want to do that because I'm reminded that I come from India. I come from which India? I come from two Indias. Those are the Indias that I bring on stage with me right now. I come from an India where children in masks hold hands with each other, and yet I come from an India where leaders hug each other without masks. I come from an India where the AQI is 9,000, but we still sleep on the roof and look up at the stars. I come from an India where we worship women during the day and gang rape them at night. I come from an India where we claim to be divided over Bollywood on Twitter and yet are united by Bollywood in the darkness of a theater. I come from an India where we scoff at sexuality and yet fuck till we reach 1 billion people. I come from an India where journalism is supposedly dead because men in fancy suits in studios give each other hand jobs, and yet women on the road with laptops are still telling the truth. I come from an India where we bleed blue every time we play green, but every time we lose to green, we turn orange all of a sudden. I come from an India where we laugh so loudly in the comfort of our own homes that you can hear us through the walls, and yet I come from an India where we break down the walls of a comedy club because you can hear laughter inside. I come from an India where old leaders will not stop talking about their dead fathers and young leaders will not stop following their living mothers. I come from an India that has the largest working population under 30 on the planet but still listens to 75-year-old leaders with 150-year-old ideas. I come...
They kept wanting to clap, but he still has a good job.
Yeah, they don't want to
They want to
interrupt.
stop the flow.
I come from an India where every time we get information, we are always available to care for the PM, but we can't seem to get any information on PM cares. I come from an India where we kicked out the British, but yet we call the government the ruling party. I come from an India where women wear saris and sneakers and yet have to take advice from old men who have never worn a sari and will never get to take one off in their entire lives. I come...
Nice.
I come from an India where our music is bahut hard, but our sentiments are bahut soft. I come from an India where people sleep outside on the road outside the club, but man, 20 times a year the road is the club. I come from an India where we take pride in being vegetarians and yet run over the farmers who grow our vegetables. I come from an India where we claim to fully support the troops until it comes to their pension plans. I come to an India where we can never be on time, no matter where we go. But yet we are always early on the co-win website for some reason. I come from an India where we have maids and drivers and yet want to come to America to do their job. I come from an India that self-serves, and I come from an India that self-preserves. I come from an India that will not shut up, and yet I come from an India that will not speak up. I come from an India that will accuse me of airing our dirty laundry, and yet I come from an India that wears their heart on their sleeve, irrespective of how dirty their clothes are. I come from an India that tells me every single day to go to Pakistan, and yet I also come from an India that invites Pakistanis over every single day, if only to whoop their ass on a cricket field. I come from an India that is going to watch this and say, this isn't stand-up comedy. Where is the goddamn joke? And yet I come from an India that will watch this and know that there is a gigantic joke. It just isn't funny. I come from an India where children living in basements and writing on comment sections have more courage than men in skyscrapers. I come from an India that is Hindu and Muslim and Christian and Sikh and Parsi and Jew, and when we all look up at the sky, we only see one thing together, the price of petrol.
Not that he's going to say that.
I leave you tonight and I go back to that India. Which India do I go back to? Both of them. Which India am I proud of? One of them. Which India is proud of me? None of them. I wanted to do this because we're at the Kennedy Center. You know, this is a dream for an artist. It's been mine for a very long time. And the reason it's a dream is because you get to see great people here. You get to see greatness on this stage. And this whole room was built for a great man in his memory. But as I stand here before you, I'm reminded that I represent a great people. Great people who built a great thing that is turning into a memory. And I know that you believe in that India like I believe in that India because I see it in your eyes and you are in this room tonight. So before I leave your country, I will leave this stage and I will put the camera on you and you make some noise for the India you want to live in, because I promise you that this is the Kennedy Center, but tonight this is our fucking house. So make some noise for India.
Mic drop. So, and keep watching to see if there's something else I'm not going to miss, because I hate when that happens. It's happened a few times, like, you missed the last part, what'd you do? As I'm watching that, you probably noticed, maybe you didn't, that I was like nodding to a few parts. I wasn't nodding because I know exactly what he was talking about, even though I understood some of the references he was making. I didn't understand all of them, not going to lie. But I'm nodding because it's not just India.
I was thinking, I was like, that is
Right?
America, that is America. I totally, yeah. 100%.
I feel, and obviously there's going to be differences with each country based on histories, culture, all that kind of stuff. I get that. But what he's saying, I would think almost just about everything, right? I would say can be applied to the country that we come from America. Any country that you come from, you have hypocrisy, you have two sides, and sometimes you're lucky if it's just two. Sometimes it's three or four, right? Three-dimensional, whatever you want to call it, four-dimensional. There's all these different elements to it, and it's, I mean, you can just spin forever, but the thing I love about this is the way that he wrote that, okay? And this was, you can tell this was some that came from his heart. Not to say his comedy isn't, obviously it is, he created it. But this came from his heart, this came from a place where he wanted to share it, and he felt inspired. I'm not sure if he had completely planned to do it, because he did ask for their permission. Maybe he did. I have no idea. But it seemed a little spontaneous in nature, but he's been thinking about this, and he had that written down as his little cheat sheet, because I don't think he does this every single night. And it was just, it gave me chills. It was powerful, but I loved the writing in it. I loved the poetry. I loved how he just structured every single line. And it was just, it was like an epic rap battle almost. Like, it was just done so well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear him say it all the way through without any interruptions. And I get, like, the wanting to cheer and, support what he's saying. But it would be interesting to hear the full rhythm without, any interruptions. But no, I thought of so many instances here in America, too, when he said that. I mean, even just thinking, like, this is the land of the free. Like, we're the place that people came for religious tolerance, right? To be able to believe in anything you want.
But yet we enslaved.
And even nowadays, like, we are so against, not everybody, but so many people in America are so against anybody else coming here. I mean, we had a president who wanted to build a wall over Mexico. We, have people who are, like, bad-mouthing refugees for coming here. I mean, I feel like sometimes people forget how nice they have it and how other people are just looking for that same peace and that same safety and that same comfort. And I think he was sharing that too in India. And he was talking about that, about how you have people who are, like, sleeping outside or, different things. Like, he kind of compared, like, the wonderfulness to the negative. And I feel like it was really good. It was very powerful, and I agree. I think a lot of countries and people can relate to what he said in different degrees. But
yeah, that the line that really resonated. I mean, there was lots of them. Again, like I said, I kept nodding. So yep. But where he talked about 75-year-old men with 150-year-old ideas as opposed to 30-year-old leaders or whatever, and it's like, it's true. Like, not that we have to destroy everything from the past. I'm all about preserving history, and I'm all about tradition, all that kind of stuff.
You have to, so you don't repeat.
But not if it doesn't make sense for your people. Not if it doesn't make sense for leadership and for moving along. I don't want this to get too political. It's hard not to with what he's saying. But absolutely love that. And I understand there's going to be people that are going to watch our reaction to it and get really sensitive and get mad at this or that. And that's fine. If that's the way you operate with this and that's the way you process, that's fine. But I appreciate what he did. I appreciate what he said. I don't know everything firsthand, so I'm not from India, but I know from how I took it, from what my experience is here, living here. And I would say, last thing I want to say is I feel like the number one thing that people are lacking is compassion.
100%.
Right?
The world's lacking empathy and compassion.
It's as simple as someone who's walking on the crosswalk, which is their legal right to do so, but they're walking too slow and you're honking, you're trying, you're like right there as they're coming, because you're in turn left and you can't wait you've gone a crosswalk before, and that's a simple, small example, but it's about compassion. Are we perfect? Nobody is. Nobody's perfect, and it's not our job to judge, but just have compassion. I mean, honestly. And there's going to be some people doing bonehead things that are going to drive you crazy. I mean, I could just go on forever about this. Appreciate this. Thanks for the request. Thank you, Veridas, for your words. Definitely gave me chills, and it was definitely powerful. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time.
Goodbye.